I'd say Quansah is joining us here by the desk. First of all, what an amazing win for you and your team. Tell us how that feels to come to the Etihad and beat Man City like that.
Yeah, it's an unbelievable feeling, to be honest, because coming into tonight we had a lot of senior players who were absent, even around the dressing room for obviously a number of reasons. But yeah, the way the boys managed to sort of pull through, and yeah, everyone sort of led tonight, and I think that's what we needed, a lot of character and a lot of fight and grit.
You must have been surprised when you saw the team sheet and the number of changes, and then there's always the bench that looms with City when they start like this, and I think a lot of people probably expected City to turn it on, but you managed to keep them at bay. Did you have that in the back of your minds that they had these reinforcements to come on?
Yeah, of course, you know, they've got world-class quality, and even the players who started tonight, some are world-class players playing for the countries and stuff, so yeah, like you say, it was always going to be a tough task when they come on as well. And we defended a bit deeper than I would have liked to, but yeah, glad we could get the win.
You say that, but you played with so much composure, not just you, the whole team. And was it always the plan to try and play through the press?
Yeah, listen, I think we've got quality players. We're a completely new team. A lot of senior players from last year went, and there's a lot of players who've had to step up this season. And I think we've got so much quality, so much youth. And yeah, like we say, I think we've got to try and implement how we want to play the game, and I think we managed to do that in parts tonight. Yeah.
To be fair, I think there was about 4 players about 20 years old that actually started. You know, to come here and play. Yeah. Actually, the courage at which the lads were getting on the ball, and I think once you got beyond that first press, he actually really hurt City.
Yeah, I think at times when we've got young players,
no fear.
No fear. That's exactly it. It's just sort of, it's a massive occasion. Some of the lads' biggest games tonight, and yeah, playing in the Champions League, it's a chance to show yourself and prove you're sort of at the level, and then tonight we were able to show that.
And you personally, Laura, you personally, where do you feel confidence-wise? You're playing extremely well. Where do you think this can lead to, what it can lead to?
Yeah, for me, I'm just trying to take every game as it comes. I know it sounds cliche, but yeah, I've got to just keep learning. The more games as a centre-back, as you know, the more games you play, the better you're going to get, and I've just got to keep on to what I've got to keep doing, and keep training hard, keep working hard, and hopefully with time I get better and better, and yeah, for the future we'll see what happens.
I think you're doing all right so far.
Yeah.
What's it been like, the move over there?
Do you know what? It's been good. It's been really good. Love the city where I'm staying, so it's really nice, and it's refreshing. It's something completely different, learning a new language.
How's the German?
How is terrible. I shouldn't have said that, should I? It's not the best yet.
No, do you know what? Honestly, I lived there for 10 years. In the first year, I understood nothing.
Yeah.
And then I came back, and it kind of all of a sudden hits you. But it's a different language to learn.
I'm sure I'll try. I'll try.
I won't make you do any, I promise. But that's a lot for a young player to take in and move to a different country, a new language and all that, and a new manager too. It's been a really difficult start to the season, I imagine, adjusting to one manager and then another. How are you all coping, and you personally?
Yeah, it's obviously never easy when there's sort of these type of things that happen so early in the season. But it's just about getting rhythm and momentum, and I think games like tonight, games on the weekend that we played where we played really well, we're looking better each game, and it's always a positive sign when you can see improvement and a lot of development. And obviously we're going to have our ups and downs, but as long as we know where we are and how well we can play like tonight, I think it'll put us in good stead for the future.
Gerard, probably you're not going to want to answer this question, but people with eyes are looking at you thinking, wow, next summer is probably going to be a big date for your diary. How do you feel about the way you're performing and your hopes are going with England?
Yeah, so it's every little boy's dream to play for the country in a World Cup. But it's what I do from now till March, and then see what happens in March, and then it's to the end of the season. It's nothing. Everything I do is going to be at the club, and the better I play at the club, the better chance I'll have in the future.
Absolutely. Gerard, lovely to speak to you, and congratulations tonight, and well done on the move as well.
Thank you.
Great to see you.
Thank you.
Go and get warmer. It's so cold out here, isn't it? Don't miss it. Okay, guys, Gerard Quansah, can I just, what a brilliant interview. What a very level-headed. We seem to be saying this more and more these days about these players, that when they make the move abroad and they do that, which is very brave, my goodness, it must mature you so quickly if you're not already there.
Well, obviously, Owen can speak from that experience. I never did that at any age. But Gerard, yeah, spoke with so much composure.
I was just thinking, I didn't talk like that at 22.
Even in German.
No, but you're right, like the composure which he spoke.
Yeah, which he plays with, and again, it doesn't feel like a burden. Like it was deemed a negative step in anyone's career, but especially when I was younger. But these young lads now just take it in their stride and they go over there and they adapt to different cultures, different languages, but also the different style of play and the pressure that comes with that. And yeah, it's remarkable.
Do you know what I like? I like the fact that he actually probably left one of the best clubs you could ever play for, and then to go because he wants to play football. He knew he wasn't first choice with Quansah and Van Dijk, and he knew he needed to play, and he backed himself. And that's all you got to do as a player, is back yourself. And then you see the way he plays. He might end up starting for England now. If he would have been on the bench at Liverpool, he wouldn't even been in the squad. Yeah. So, you know, big call from Joe, but he's been terrific.
Yeah, and what a night to come back to England and beat City here at the Etihad. Let's have a little look at how this all panned out for them then. Ronaldo with the first goal, making it 1-0. Just talk us through this, guys, and how it happened.
Do you know what? I just thought they were brave all game. Some great positions, as Ali said in commentary. And then they work it out wide. Young Mazza, he's only 20 years old, got it for 10 million from Hertha Berlin. Puts in a great ball. And Grimaldo's their top scorer. 8 goals in all comps from that left wing-back position. But if you just look at City, the midfield three were all over the place all game. Reinders and Lewis are probably too high. Nico Gonzalez goes out, has to overcover because the boys are out of position. Aid Nouri is out of position. He's too high. He needs to drop. That means there's space out wide. And obviously Grimaldo's just nobody's worried about him because they're all ball watching. But the midfield, I thought, was an issue all game. Obviously 10 changes, that's going to happen. Take nothing away from the finish from Grimaldo. But I just thought, obviously with the 10 changes, the balance was off. But the midfield three, they got to be there in moments when a team's going to come and play and counter you. And I don't think they were there, even first goal, but not even on the second.
Yeah, they only had 2 shots on target all game, and they both of them, and this was the second one from Schick. Yeah,
we spoke about how efficient they're going to have to be in front of the goal, but they were so comfortable with playing out. Again, with City, pressed high. And I think the theme throughout the night was the midfield didn't have the understanding and the distances right between them and the back four. And in the second goal, you're going to see the fact that there's a straightforward Savinho's in midfield, and I think it's Mamouche out wide, and Savinho's just lost in there, and then all of a sudden he doesn't want to recover at the pace that he's needed to, and then it's just a crazy setup and lack of organisation, which is not something you associate with Man City. Yes, teams can break fast and take opportunities, but here you just see them strolling there, and as a defender, as soon as that striker sees your number, you're out of control. But here now, again, like the first goal, you see the 3 midfielders pressing in a way that no one's really backing
How
up.
much space does Tillman have, though? I mean, that is...
Savinho has to recognise he's the closest man to press that ball.
He's not, I know he does, but it's not his job. I mean, it's the midfield three. Why are they all so high?
It's his job, technically, but if you find yourself in there, it's your job. It's like if you find yourself fullback, you'd have to defend. And as I said, it goes on, then he doesn't get out, and then Nathan Ake finds himself a bit flat-footed. And also, like I said, from a experience point of view, as soon as a striker used to see my number, I knew I wasn't in control of the scenario.
So what are you going to do there? Maybe try and bump him or something?
Yeah, but again, by the time you've seen him, it's too late. He's got in front of you, and now he's getting a nick on the ball. You kind of have to open your body up. As soon as you get into the box as a defender, what you want to do is make the goalkeeper see your number. So now you can see the run of the strikers or the forward players, because as soon as you square off, and then if he pulls off, you can't see him. And as soon as you get him in front of you, it's too late.
Take nothing away from Schick. He's a great goal scorer. Yeah. You know, and that's the thing as well. We said they defended brilliantly, that back three with the 2 wing backs, but actually, when they got the ball, they had composure to get on it and play. They went through the midfield easy, switch play, and then their goal scorers that were finishing it off.
Why is it that you saw how frustrated Erling Haaland looked there when the second goal came in? Why is it that they made the changes and they couldn't really come and implement themselves? Was it too late? Should he make the changes earlier?
You can't change it when you start like that. I don't think. You know, it's easier said than done. I think you think, right, we've got a brilliant bench of players. Give them an opportunity to play. They should get the job done. But actually, Leverkusen were really brave. And then you try and change them. You bring the cavalry on. But Leverkusen were full of confidence, popping it about. And I just don't think they ever really got into a rhythm. You know, Doku, Foden, or Haaland. They looked more dangerous without question. Haaland had a great chance. He just didn't take it around the keeper, I don't think. But other than that, I don't think they created much.
So in that case, I'll take you back to the question I asked you earlier on. Pep must have underestimated this Leverkusen side.
Yeah, again, for various reasons, he changed the team, whether that is for the fixtures coming up, the recognition of, well, it's Arsenal and Bayern Munich, so someone's dropping points there, and there's still opportunities to stay in the top 8 and qualify. So,
But what could this loss here do for the confidence of this side?
Yeah, the loss can happen. It could have happened if they picked the strongest team. It's the performance. That's the worrying thing. I think that when they lost to Newcastle, the performance wasn't that bad. And there was still positives to take from it. I don't know if there's many to take from tonight. So that's the more damage is the performance rather than the result.
Yeah, tonight in the Champions League. You can see Bayern and Arsenal still first and second, and they battle it out tomorrow on TNT Sports. We'll be there at the Emirates. Inter and Dortmund third and fourth, and then Chelsea, they're fifth. They had a big 3-0 win tonight. And Manchester City, who were fourth at the beginning of the evening, they've dropped to sixth. You can see Newcastle have also dropped below Paris Saint-Germain, who are seventh at the moment. So that's how the table looks in terms of the automatic qualifying positions so far. And City have work to do in the Champions League in their next match, especially because they've got Real Madrid. Then things get, well, I would say slightly easier, but we were just talking about these fixtures that are coming up, and you can see them down the bottom of your screen, hopefully down there. They aren't as easy as you think, really, when you look at the away games that they've got to play. Why is that?
Well, especially if they would have won this game, then, you know, Real Madrid away, you can afford to lose that. Then also Bodo Glimt on an AstroTurf pitch in January. That's
freezing.
That's not nice for anyone. And they end up getting big results. And then obviously they play against Galatasaray. I think at the moment Osimhen is the top scorer in the Champions League. So they pose a threat as well. So they're not, I mean, you expect them to come through those fixtures, but they're not easy.
Yeah. There's no gimmies, especially the Bodo Glimt away. The surface alone is a leveller, and that's probably the game you want to rest players. You don't want to be playing the likes of Haaland, Phil Foden, on an Astro pitch. So, yeah, it's a tough draw.
At this point last season, the remaining four fixtures that Manchester City had in the Champions League, they managed to only get 4 points from that. Does it feel like a different side this season?
Yeah, definitely. I don't think it's as concerning as last season. There's still a lot more positives. And they've put in performances. I think they had moments last season where there was winning games and looking poor at the same time. But I think they've put in solid performances throughout this season. So they'll look at the next 3 games in the league and try and build up some momentum, especially to go to the Bernabeu.
That's probably why he rotated so much, because they have been so solid and so consistent. Obviously, you can lose at Newcastle. That's a tough away game. But I think the team has performed quite well when he's played his best players. And then obviously he thought maybe I'll get some of the other squad players a game today. But you have to credit Leverkusen. You know, I thought the game plan and the way they played with real courage. But, you know, if you look at the next fixtures in the Premier League, you know, you got Leeds, Fulham, Sunderland. They should win those games. And then they're right in that Premier League title race.
They should win those games. And let's talk about the Premier League title race a little bit, because this weekend was a 6-pointer, as we call it. They've lost, Arsenal have won, and they've stretched that gap. When we spoke to Phil Foden when we were here a few weeks ago in the Champions League, we asked him a question: do you love the chase? When the gap gets a little bit bigger like that,
the chase gets harder.
Yeah.
Yeah, of course. And obviously the confidence builds with Arsenal as the gap gets bigger. But like I always said, I think if they can just maintain a consistency in their performances and try and shorten the gap come March and it's a shootout, I still think they're favourites. But listen, if they keep dropping points and Arsenal don't, then it's obviously going to be inevitable.
Arsenal have got Bayern Munich tomorrow. All eyes are going to be on that fixture, and Bayern Munich for Arsenal have been incredibly difficult in terms of European football in the past. Does it feel a little different this time for Arsenal?
Oh, big time. Yeah, I think even Bayern knows it. Vincent Kompany knows it. I think the only thing for Bayern Munich, they're missing Luis Diaz after his, red card against PSG. But you could argue Bayern are the best team so far in the Champions League. And Arsenal, when we saw Arsenal play Bayern a couple of years ago, Arsenal were probably the better team at that point. But Bayern won on experience. I don't think that happens again. I think these two will go toe-to-toe. And I think it'll be a fascinating game of football. Some brilliant players, exciting managers. Yeah. And let's see what gives.
Yeah, we'll be there tomorrow at the Emirates. Make sure you come back and join us on TNT Sports. We're going to hopefully hear from Pep Guardiola here at the Etihad shortly. But in the meantime, let's hear from the winning manager, Kasper Hjulmand. He's speaking with Danny.
Kasper, congratulations. What a performance from your side tonight. How did they get the win?
Yeah, what a performance, as you said. I'm very, very happy and proud of the boys. I think we played exactly what we wanted to do. We played with a lot of courage and calm on the ball when we had to. Of course, we also need a little bit luck and a good goalkeeper. But at the end of the day, I think we played very well. With that courage and with the intensity and with everything we did, I think there was a lot of courage and a lot of character in this team.
When we spoke yesterday, you mentioned how young a lot of these players are, how young they are to the team. How pleasing is it to see them come somewhere like this against such a good side and be so brave and demand the ball and demand possession?
Yeah, it's very, very important for me and for the club, the way we want to play. And so as we said, it's so important when we have the ball that everyone needs to be involved. You can always make mistakes, but we should all look for the ball. Everyone gets out in the light, look to play. There's always, no matter who you play, there's always space to pass the ball. And I think we showed a lot of good minutes today, and a lot of the players, all of the whole team showed some great character. And I'm very, very proud of this character of a very young squad. Not only age, but also so many new players together. So I think still we have a lot to learn, but we did well today.
You mentioned the goalkeeper having to have a good day. He's one of the more experienced. How impressed were you with Mark Flekken tonight?
Well, I think Mark has been improving ever since I came here. I've seen him improve from game to game, from training to training. He's trying to learn. You don't really recognize maybe his play with the feet. He's very, very comfortable on the ball. But of course, today he also had saves that made a big difference. So Mark, fantastically, and I'm very happy for him because he's working very, very hard every day.
Very well done tonight. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, lovely. Danny asked him there about the keeper. I'm glad he did because he had a brilliant match them tonight, didn't he?
To be honest with you, I thought they all did. I don't think one player was outperformed by a City player. I thought the goalkeeper, the reason they signed him is because he's really good on the ball. Probably one of the best passers of the ball, goalkeeper with his feet. And he had to make one save. But I think everybody, the goalkeeper, the back three, I thought Alex Garcia in the centre of the park, who's an academy player here, I thought he was immense. I thought Mazza was only 20 years old. He was exceptional. I mean, you Poku on that right-hand side, he's not a wing-back. He played as a wing-back. All of the players probably outperformed their level, and I just love the way the manager speaks.
Yeah.
He says everybody's got to show for the ball. We've got to have courage. They had proper courage today, and then they executed.
There must be a reason why Kasper's managed to turn this team around, and it's not just tactics or coaching. It must be part of that, the way that he speaks to his team. I tell you what, though, we're going to hear from the other coach because I've just heard Pep Guardiola is ready with Danny now. Hold that.
Pep, you've been in the dressing room for a long time. What has been said in there between you and the players?
Belong to us.
What's your assessment of what you saw out on the pitch tonight?
Well, it was not the performance that we thought, and maybe, of course, I take the full responsibility. Still, I think that the players that started are exceptional players, but we missed something like we need in the highest level, and so it was an incredible opportunity to stop, and now we have to fight for the next games.
What do you think was missing tonight?
They were good, and in general, you did also very good things. We have chances, and I would say the chances we had more than them, but it was the half chances. Always we block, always we slippery, always it was something there, and we didn't have that, to believe that. Okay, it's a moment to attack, we attack. It's a moment to defend, because it's not being in the position, it's being present in the position defensively and offensively, of course. We have to determination to go, okay, I'm going to make a movement, I'm going to make some situations that we can do.
Why do you think that maybe wasn't there from the players on the pitch tonight?
Sorry?
Why do you think that wasn't there?
It's happened. Sometimes it happens.
Looking back at the team that you selected tonight, you said that they're all fantastic players who did start, but making 10 changes, do you maybe regret that?
Understand your question. Absolutely, I have to accept it. So I have to accept it. If we win, it will not be the problem. So I accept that maybe it's a lot, but I think playing every 2 or 3 or 4 days, we need, but maybe it's too much. Yeah, right. Seeing the result, maybe it's too much.
Just looking forward, though, the 3 games that are remaining, does this maybe put a little bit more pressure on that trip to Real Madrid next time in the Champions League?
We have time now. The think about is Leeds.
Thank you, Pep.
You're very welcome.
There we go. Danny asking a brave question there. Did you make too many changes? Look, he said he takes full responsibility, but there were players on the pitch, 11 of them, plus the changes. They all had a chance to make their impact on the game tonight, and they didn't. Are there players in that side that have missed their opportunity now?
Oh, 100%, and they'll feel that. I've been in that situation yourself, and you get called into a squad when you haven't been playing as regular and the rhythm's not there, and all of a sudden you don't perform, and then you don't have a leg to stand on when you're not in a team and the team's winning, and you're frustrated. Now they haven't given themselves an opportunity to go and knock on the door, but listen, the collective performance wasn't good enough. Pep took responsibility there, and there's a lot of things wrong with today's performance.
What do you think, Owen?
I mean, look, on the surface, you could play those guys, at home against Leverkusen and still expect to win the game. I mean, Savinho's, is a Brazilian international. Marmoush, was their second top scorer last season. They're all top players. Oscar Bob on his day, he's a fabulous player, but they didn't produce what they needed. And probably, I do think you still have to give credit to Leverkusen the way they approached the game. I think City thought it was going to be easier. They could just pop it about. The way the midfield balance was there today, they were never really in position to kind of protect and cover when they lost the ball. And that lets me know they think this will probably be a little bit easier. And you have to respect, Tillman took up some great positions in behind that back, in behind that midfield, and they hurt them. And I think, Pep probably thought those 10 changes would be fine, but actually they weren't. And that's on the players, really. The manager gave them an opportunity, didn't take it, and he's going to go back to tried and tested against Leeds.
Will they still make the top 8?
Yeah, they're still in their hands.
Do it the hard way.
Yeah, of course. Similar to last season over, they didn't do it. But yeah, they'll still be confident they can get enough results. That's probably 2 out of the 3 in terms of wins. But yeah, they'll be confident now.
Yeah, I think you can still win in Madrid. Obviously, that would be a fascinating game. Bodo Glimt away on an AstroTurf pitch is not easy, but I still think they win. And then they finish the job against Galatasaray here. But I think some of those fringe players had an opportunity today. They didn't take it, and they might be sitting back down on their bench for a few weeks.
All right, in the cold, which we have managed to brave tonight. It's been a wonderful night here at the Etihad.
Welcome back to Sport Lab, where we break down the biggest stories in football. And wow, Manchester City have suffered a shocking defeat at home in the Champions League, losing 0-2 to Bayer Leverkusen. Guardiola's side looked comfortable in the group stages so far, but tonight, the German visitors turned the Etihad upside down. Let's get into what went so wrong for City, and what Leverkusen did so brilliantly. City looked to control possession early, as they usually do, but the warning signs were there. 23 minutes in, Bayer Leverkusen struck first. Malik Tillman intercepted and quickly released a ball out wide. Christian Kofane held it up in the box, and Alejandro Grimaldo chased it down before slotting home with composure. Bedlam in the away end. The Etihad was stunned. City were behind despite dominating possession. The second half started much like the first, City pressing, but vulnerable to counters. 54 minutes, a brilliant setup from Ibrahim Mazza, and Patrick Schick rises to glance a header across Nathan Ake, doubling Leverkusen's lead. Suddenly, City were chasing shadows. The visitors' organisation, pace, and sharpness on the break completely exposed Guardiola's defence. City's first defeat in Europe this season, a major blow to confidence. Defensively, City were caught high up the pitch and struggled to cope with Leverkusen's counters. Leverkusen showed clinical finishing from limited chances. Grimaldo and Schick were deadly. Guardiola will need to rethink tactics, especially when playing high-pressing, counter-attacking teams. City looked to bounce back in the Champions League in their next group game. Leverkusen ride the momentum and could become serious dark horses in this group. Shock at the Etihad. What did you make of Man City's performance? Can Guardiola fix these defensive issues, or is this a warning sign for the rest of the campaign? Drop your thoughts in the comments, hit like, and subscribe to Sport Lab for the latest Premier League and Champions League breakdowns.